With $40,000 up for grabs and 128 players competing for a chance to win, some of the biggest names in Hearthstone were in attendance for their shot at the Dreamhack Summer 2015 Grandprix. The tournament kicked off with a 128-player, 7-round Swiss format tournament, from which only 8 players would proceed to the single elimination bracket to compete for their chance at the big money and a share of 230 World Championship points. Anyone losing 2 or more games would be eliminated from the chance to advance to the top 8, and on day 1 we saw some notable names fall out of the running, including Orange, Powder, Firebat, and Nyria. Speaking of Nyria, one of the most interesting games of the day took place between him and Dog when a piloted shredder spawned Low Walker Cho, throwing the entire game into chaos as the warrior and the rogue both attempt to play around the spell swapping. On day 2, we saw our finalists compete in their last 4 rounds of the Swiss-style part of the tournament. Hawkeye was the undefeated player entering the elimination stage with a 7-0 record, beating 2 of the other finalists, aka Wonder and Tiddler, on his way there. After losing his first match of the tournament, then winning his interesting game with Nyria, on day 1, Dog went on to beat Raynid along with 5 others to reach the elimination stage and was looking to make his first big tournament win. Some of the most seasoned pros also made their way into the finals, with the likes of Chalky and Amaze progressing out of the Swiss stage. Not all the finalists were well-known players, however. Unid has been big in the French scene for a while now, but this was his first major tournament, and Nico the Great was the biggest breakout talent of the event, being completely unknown on the scene prior to this event, but qualifying for the top 8 alongside some of the biggest names in the game. Day 3 kicked off with Dog vs Hawkeye, and although he cleared the first 7 rounds undefeated, Hawkeye got knocked out in his first match in the top 8. Chalky went on to beat Nico the Great after Nico missed lethal 2 turns in a row in the second game seamlessly due to nervousness. Tiddler undefeated last year's Dreamhack runner-up Amaze 3-1, and aka Wonder knocked out Unid in a 3-2 victory. Into the semifinals, Dog defeated Chalky 3-1, and could almost taste his big victory as he progressed to the final. Tiddler beat aka Wonder in a nail-biting 3-2 victory. Wonder won the first 2 games in a row, but he just couldn't get a victory with his Paladin deck, and Tiddler made a full reverse sweep, finishing up the series with his Druid deck. The final came down to Dog versus Tiddler. Both players really proved they deserved to be here, and with some tense back and forth between the players. Tiddler finally won with his Zulok against Dog's Patron Warrior and leaves with a grand prize of $12,500 and 100 precious World Championship points. In the final 8, we saw more Warlock decks than any other class, with every player except Unid bringing one. Not a single Priest deck made it into the top 8, and although one Mage got this far, it never saw play as Nico was knocked out before he could use it. It was Druid that had the best win rate, 100% of the 5 games they played. Unsurprisingly, Warlock saw the most action with 19 matches, of which they won 47%. Shaman did the worst of all the classes, being only brought by Hawkeye. It lost both of its games, and Paladin only managed to win 1 of its 4 matchups. Surprisingly, however, considering its popularity in the meta, the mid-range Hunter only won 38% of its 13 games. We've also continued to see a trend with the Animal Companion, wanting to be renamed Summon Misha. After it became a running joke at the ESL Hearthstone Legendary Series 2 weeks ago, Animal Companion continues its trend toward the 4-4 taunt, with it being summoned 56% of the time. Hover fell in second place at 33%, and Leok lagged into the back at only 11%. At the end of the tournament, another 230 World Championship points have been dished out, and players will continue to compete for the chance to reach the regional qualifiers starting in September. We will be bringing you all of the action from the Hearthstone esports scene right here, so make sure you subscribe and let us know what your highlights of the tournament were in the comments below. I've been Andrew from Curse, and make sure you enjoy the game.